Dear students, welcome to this program. Today's topic for discussion is SAARC, its challenges and future prospects. The main objectives of this lecture is to look at first the main achievements of SAARC, second what are the challenges which SAARC is facing, and third what is the future of SAARC. SAARC, the South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation, came into being in 1985. SAARC was created as an expression of the region's collective decision to promote the welfare of the people of South Asia and to strengthen collective self-reliance. It is an association based on the consciousness that in a globalized world, the objectives of peace, freedom, social justice and economic prosperity are best achieved by fostering mutual understanding, good neighborly relations and meaningful cooperation among the member states, which are bound by the ties of history and culture. Since its inception, SAARC has made significant progress to strengthen economic cooperation and to maximize region's vast potential for trade and development. It has been able to build institutions in various areas that have provided good basis for expanding cooperation in the region. South Asian consciousness has been growing not only among the people of the region, but also in South Asian diaspora. The concept of South Asia is today having a global appeal. Hundreds of foreign companies are keen to tap the vibrancy of the region. SAARC has also provided a strategic forum to the South Asian nations not only to deliberate and find solutions to collective problems in the region, but also to dialogue with major stakeholders in world affairs. It has been said that the destiny has already been proclaimed for Asia and South Asia will be the fulcrum of its growth in coming decades. So far as the achievements of the organization are concerned, SAARC has traversed a significant distance since its birth. The progress and the development which the organization has made in recent years can be witnessed in number of areas. Number first, substantial increase in cooperation. Since the formation of SAARC in 1985, the level of cooperation among the member countries has increased substantially. The heads of the states are meeting in summits to discuss the issues of mutual concern and areas of cooperation. Member states are cooperating in number of areas to strengthen the cooperation like agriculture, rural development, tourism, human resource development, environment, natural disasters, poverty alleviation, trade and transport and so on. To accelerate the pace of cooperation, number of programs have been initiated and various forums for mutual benefit have been established like South Asian University. It is an international university established in 2010 by the SAARC desk. The university is offering postgraduate and doctoral programs in several disciplines. It can prove as a catalyst for the regional integration process. The university aims to create a center of excellence and produce leaders who identify themselves as citizens of the region with a common vision of success for both their home country and the neighbors. SAARC Food Bank has been established. The decision to establish a SAARC Food Bank was taken in the 14th SAARC Summit. The food bank will supplement national efforts to provide food security to the people of the region. SAARC Food Bank shall have a reserve of food grains to be maintained by each member state, consisting of either wheat or rice or both, as assessed share of the country. Moreover, SAARC Development Fund has been created. SAARC Development Fund was recognized by SAARC members in 2010. The fund aims to promote the welfare of the people of South Asia to improve their quality of life, economic growth and social progress. It is also seen as an achievement of the Regional Association for the Safety, Progress and Prosperity for the people of South Asia. Establishment of SAARC Arbitration Council is also an important achievement. The SAARC Arbitration Council provides a legal form for the South Asian nations for the effective settlement of disputes in industrial, commercial, trade, investment, banking or in other areas as may be referred to it by the member states. The other forms and centers which have been established include South Asia Foundation, SAARC International College, Telemedicine Network, SAARC Writers and Literature Foundation, South Asia Center for Policy Studies, South Asia Women's Center, South Asia Olympic Council. Second important achievement of SAARC is the promotion of economic cooperation. Economic cooperation lies at the heart of SAARC activities. To enhance economic linkages among the members, several institutional mechanisms have been set up. The first step towards regional economic integration was taken with the signing of South Asian Preferential Trade Agreement (SAPTA) in 1993. This agreement mainly focused on liberalization of trade in goods through a positive list approach and in a phased manner, which initially started with the negotiations on product by product basis. 3 rounds of negotiations were held between 1995 and 2000, whereby around 5,200 products were brought under the ambit of tariff reduction. However, the persistence of protectionist approach among member countries, lack of substantial tariff reduction measures, exclusion of large sectors of trade from tariff reduction, domestic crisis and other factors caused SAPTA to fall short at its very inception. So, in the 10th summit held at Colombo in 1998, it was decided to initiate negotiations for establishing a free trade area in the region as a successor of SAPTA. After a series of meetings, the member states signed SAFTA, South Asian Free Trade Area Agreement in 2004, which came into effect in 2006. The objective of SAFTA is to promote competition in the free trade regimes and provide equitable benefits to all countries as party to the agreement. It also aims at increasing the level of trade and economic cooperation among the SAARC community by reducing the tariff and non-tariff barriers, and at the same time providing special preference to the least developed member countries. Article 7 of the SAFTA agreement provides for a phased tariff liberalization program, under which non-least developed countries would bring down tariffs to 20%, while least developed countries will bring them down to 30% in the first phase. In the second phase, non-least developed countries will bring down tariffs from 20% to 0 to 5% in 5 years, while least developed countries will do so in 8 years. But this trade liberalization scheme is not applicable to the sensitive list. A sensitive list is a list of items maintained by every country which is outside the ambit of tariff concession. However, the committee of experts is mandated to review the sensitive list with a view to reduce the number of items in the basket. Besides dispute settlement mechanism, technical assistance and revenue compensation to the least developed member countries are the inbuilt arrangements of SAFTA. Both of these measures aim at supporting the vulnerable economies by providing specified percentage of revenue loss caused due to reduction of normal tariff. The agreement also outlines a number of facilitation measures to enhance intra-regional trade and complement SAFTA process for mutual benefits. Third achievement is increase in external support and cooperation. In this era of globalization, no country or region can live in isolation. Every country or region has to cooperate with other countries for mutual benefits. South Asia, being a poor region, needs the support and assistance from other developed regions and countries in terms of capital, resources and technology. In the recent years, developed countries have shown their interest in SAARC and are also willing to provide help in social and economic fields. These countries include USA, Japan, China, South Korea and even European Union. Japan has clearly offered help in social infrastructure development and disaster management. China offered donation to South Asian Development Fund, and the recent support has also come from China to run the China South Asia Business Forum. SAARC has also established institutionalized arrangements for cooperation with a number of regional groupings and international and regional organizations. SAARC has also been in the process of making agreements and MOUs with other regional and international organizations like United Nations Development Programme, International Telecommunications Union, United Nations Conference on Trade and Development, and UNICEF. This external support will give a boost to the aims and objectives of SAARC to move forward for the better future in the social and economic fields, and it is also a good opportunity for the members to develop interstate cooperation within South Asia. Fourth, people to people contacts have also increased. In fact, one of the most significant objectives of SAARC is to increase people to people contacts. The member countries have realized the importance of this aspect of cooperation, and as a result of this thinking, SAARC has tried to undertake a program of well-connected South Asia, and that can be possible only when people are brought closer, for which some initiatives have been taken, like SAARC Chairs Fellowship and Scholarship Schemes, SAARC Youth Volunteer Program, SAARC Visa Exemption Scheme, SAARC Audio Visual Exchange Program, South Asian Festivals, Association of SAARC Speakers and Parliamentarians, SAARC Chamber of Commerce and Industry, SAARC Scheme for Promotion of Organized Tourism, SAARC Documentation Center. Moreover, the civil society groups in the member countries of SAARC are also trying to create more communication networks between scholars, writers, journalists, academicians, retired civil and military officials. Despite these notable achievements which SAARC has made over the years, there exists a wide gap between its promises and achievements. It would not be wrong to say that the promise and potential of regional cooperation as outlined in SAARC Charter is yet to be realized. Widespread poverty, underdeveloped infrastructure, poor connectivity, preoccupation with security anxieties, trust deficit and political instability continue to pose serious challenges to greater cooperation. In spite of SAFTA agreement, the intra-regional trade is exceeding low as compared to European and Southeast Asian countries. There are some serious constraints which are not allowing South Asian cooperation to develop. Some of these constraints are: number first, trust deficit. There exists a trust deficit among the member countries, which is not good for the health of the organization. The long-standing political tensions and lack of trust among the SAARC countries has made regional inclusiveness very difficult. The countries of the region are still locked in historical conflicts and mutual rivalries, which has caused a great damage to the regional cooperation. The issue of Kashmir between India and Pakistan, water and refugee disputes between India and Bangladesh, the ethnic problem between Bhutan and Nepal are some of the troubled spots in the SAARC region which impede cooperation. The swings in India-Pakistan relations have repeatedly cast their shadow on working of the SAARC. Its recent example is the indefinite postponement of 19th SAARC summit, which was scheduled to be held in Pakistan in 2016. Similarly, in 1989, the association received a major blow when Sri Lanka refused to host 5th SAARC summit on the ground that Indian peacekeeping forces were settled on its soil. Second, institutional capacity deficit. Another major constraint on SAARC's performance has been the lack of institutional capacity to support and monitor the implementation of its initiatives. The result is that most of the initiatives exist only on paper. The SAARC Secretariat, while well organized, suffers from inadequate budgetary and human resources and lacks technical and professional expertise to plan, monitor and support the implementation of SAARC initiatives. Moreover, the Secretariat also lacks mandate to initiate proposals and explore possibilities for expanding cooperation. It has also been unable to actively help in converting high level recommendations and summit meeting declarations into actionable programs and concrete achievements. Number third, there are drawbacks in SAARC charter. The charter of SAARC has some self-imposed anomalies which have undermined the scope and potential of SAARC. For instance, SAARC charter precludes bilateral and contentious issues being taken up at its meetings and ensures that all the decisions be reached by consensus, which means that SAARC cannot be used as a platform to resolve the bilateral issues. On the one hand, it asks for increased cooperation and exchanges, and on the other hand, avoids negotiations on bilateral disputes. Without the resolution of political issues among the members, the greater cooperation would be a wishful thinking. The charter also requires that all the decisions shall be taken unanimously, which at times becomes difficult. Number fourth challenge is trade barriers. Despite the attempts to liberalize their economies, South Asian states maintain rigid and tight trade barriers among themselves, both tariff and non-tariff. South Asia's average tariffs are significantly higher than the world average. Even the signing of SAFTA has not delivered desired results. There are two core issues which hinder its effective implementation. First, SAFTA is undermined by the so called sensitive list, which is a long list of products that are exempted from the tariff liberalization program. Second is the issue of para tariffs, which are duties that are applied only on imports and not on domestic production. So, these are tariffs by another name. These para tariffs increase overall protection, non-transparency and overall anti-export bias of trade regimes. Despite many rounds of tariff negotiations, the sensitive lists are still relatively long, which ironically despite many rounds of tariff negotiations, the sensitive lists are still relatively long, which ironically consist of products with high potential for regional trade. In relation to the sensitive lists, 44% to 45% of the imports from other SAARC members fall under the sensitive lists of both Bangladesh and Sri Lanka. More than 39% of India's exports to the region fall under the sensitive lists of various South Asian states. Besides tariff barriers, non-tariff barriers also act as serious constraints in intra-regional trade. Bangladesh imposes non-automatic licensing and prohibitions as a measure to control its imports. Obtaining a letter of credit authorization is a mandatory requirement for imports that are listed as restricted. These prohibitions apply to a wide range of products, from drugs to animal products. Bangladesh has also become strict on technical requirements for processed food. In addition, the packaging, labeling and marking must be in accordance with the country's standards. Like Bangladesh, Bhutan has also tightened its requirements for packaging and labeling of goods. Maldives also uses non-automatic licensing for various products, which acts as a potent trade barrier for South Asian countries. Number 5 is fear of Indian domination. India's role within the SAARC has also come in for close scrutiny, because India is at the heart of the association. An active role by India has often been perceived with suspicion. Even when the idea of SAARC was first mooted by Ziaur Rahman, it was viewed with suspicion by many countries. Even India considered it a mischievous move by the smaller states to gang up against India. Pakistan viewed it as a Chanakyan plan plotted by India to dominate the region. Because of India's strong economic and political clout, such perception continues to prevail among other members as well. For instance, some members fear that lowering tariff barriers would lead to India dominating the markets of the region, and such a perception has affected the working of the organization. The other challenges which organization is facing include poor infrastructure, strained relations between India and Pakistan, the asymmetry in the resource positions of the states, and lack of balanced interdependence in South Asia. Despite the above mentioned challenges, South Asia offers several desirable features for regional cooperation. It is a contiguous landmass with several rivers crisscrossing the region. The region has a common history, languages and cultures, as well as common inherited legal and administrative systems. Moreover, over the last decade, all of the regions' economies have been liberalizing and growing at respectable rates, which should further facilitate deeper cooperation in the region. And for a large and deeper integration of the region, SAARC has a larger role to play. It is a manifestation of the desire and hope of the people of the region. While learning important lessons from the past, we have to move forward with an eye on future. SAARC has been in existence for 36 years now, and in these 36 years there has indeed been positive movement in many areas, but it is also true that in this period world has also changed a lot. So, SAARC has to keep itself abreast of the changes taking place in the world. It must adapt itself to the new realities, because all the institutions are prone to change and improvement. It has been rightly said that there is a scope for improvement even in heavens. We have to restructure, revitalize and re-energize the SAARC, and for this number of policy initiatives have to be taken by the South Asian leaders, and some of these initiatives are: first, a serious review of the SAARC charter is needed in the light of past experiences to overcome its shortcomings and outdated elements, especially the provisions on principles of cooperation and decision making. As we know that decisions in the SAARC are taken on the unanimity principle, which not only makes negotiations a cumbersome exercise, but also gives veto power to the member states. This aspect needs to be rationalized by restricting the principle of unanimity to vital issues, whereas decisions on other matters should be taken on the basis of simple majority of the total membership. Moreover, SAARC has yet to develop into a conflict mediating or conflict resolving institution. The main reason is that SAARC charter mandates that only multilateral issues can be brought before the organization, and Charter excludes bilateral and contentious issues from the ambit of SAARC deliberations. So, SAARC needs a mandate to resolve the bilateral issues, and for this purpose Charter needs amendment. Second, SAARC's capacity to deliver on its ambitious agenda has been seriously conditioned by its systemic limitations and operational handicaps. It must be reoriented both structurally and operationally in order to enhance its effectiveness as a dynamic vehicle of regional cooperation. It has to shift its focus from meetings oriented approach to result based pragmatic cooperation. It is time that SAARC should review its practice of having unproductive meetings instead of being keen on signing too many agreements. A more focused attention is needed for serious result based follow up and implementation of the decisions already made. Third, the organizational structure of SAARC also needs a major shake up, particularly secretariat. The role and functions of the SAARC secretariat and Secretary General have failed to keep pace with the rapidly changing global environment in which SAARC operates. Therefore, the demands to widen its mandate and scope of operations have been raised. These include boosting the capacities of Secretariat in terms of finance and human resources, which have severely hindered the implementation of projects and their monitoring. The Secretariat needs to institutionalize a close nexus between its bureaucratic machinery and a permanent but a rotating body of independent experts and professionals. The Secretary General must possess sufficient resources to hire experts when needed for specific projects. Fourth, trade is an important means for the development of the region, but in spite of free trade agreement in place, intra-regional trade remains at dismal level. Besides eliminating restrictive trade barriers, both tariff and non-tariff, the success of SAFTA will also depend on the fairness and equity with which this process is carried forward. Trade liberalization that does not ensure equitable benefits to all countries of the region with special differential treatment for the small and least developed member states might be difficult to sustain. Furthermore, trade cannot flourish in the absence of regional connectivity and adequate transport linkages, which are the vital arteries through which commerce flows. South Asia must develop and build roads, railway lines and inland waterways and shipping links, which would allow the movement of goods and people smoothly across frontiers. Last but not least, SAARC needs peace and stability. The contentious issues among the member states should be resolved at the earliest by responsibility, restraint and statesmanship on the part of all regional and extra-regional stakeholders. For an enabling environment, South Asia must free itself of tensions, conflicts and confrontations. For peace and stability, efforts will have to be made to promote mutual trust, confidence building and conflict resolution. SAARC could be an appropriate forum to generate mutuality of interests and common benefits in the region. To reinforce intra-regional process of confidence building, preventive diplomacy and peaceful settlement of disputes, establishment of South Asia Regional Forum could be a workable idea. Dear students, with this I am signing off today's lecture. Hope you have understood it well. Thanks for watching it.